Hi everyone, welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and a build update of the 1967 Shelby GT-350 kit. I got a lot done with this over the week. The guys were working really hard. I gave them the weekend off, and they still came around. But what are you going to do? Let's start with the engine here. This thing's coming out really, really nice. The wires I made just like I did in my other videos. Painted them yellow because I like the Excel look on there, especially with this blue and the black. It really stands out and says, hey, there's spark plug wires here. What I did with them is I kind of just bunched them together in the front and then dropped them because gravity will drop them, bring them back up, and attach them to the distributor. And again, there's no glue holding them in. They just hold by themselves. The coil is glued here. It comes up around and it goes in there and it looks really good. I painted just the very tip of that coil black, the coil wire, just to give it that boot look without putting a big old boot on it. And then since we're on that side of the engine, the alternator didn't have a bracket. So I made a bracket out of evergreen, and it's just a thin strip of evergreen that I kind of arched, and then I bent it in a Z pattern because the alternator, as you can see, is really far away from anything that it would mount to. So I brought it up, over, and then across and mounted it to the top, and there's the alternator is holding on. Also, I took some AWG-32, my magnet wire, and I made that alternator wire, which runs off the alternator, over, down underneath everything, and towards the back. And I just painted it with the my favorite paint, the Tamiya XF85, the rubber black. I'm about out of this too. I'm going to need to get some. I put a heater hose in. I don't know if I mentioned that I was going to or not, but I put the heater hose in, which comes from here around, and then it comes up onto the carburetor, swoops up, and then it swoops back down into the firewall. And I think what it does is it's used to heat the choke assembly on the carb. So that's my best guess. The other side, I made a little linkage bracket, and I did that out of the same sprue that I did the alternator bracket. Drilled a couple of holes in it, put my throttle cable going one way, my battery or my return spring going the other way, and glued it right to the carb. There's not a whole lot of detail on this carb. Focus. There's not a lot of detail on this carb, so I'm just making what I can. Give it a little highlight. And it's not going to be covered up too much. Let me bring this tire back over and I'll show you what I mean. The air cleaner on it sits way up. It'll sit way up off of that carb. So I took the air cleaner too and I painted it. I don't know why this thing does not want to focus today. I painted it a tan, a khaki color. Not even sure which one, to be honest with you. I just grabbed one and painted, and then I took my 4-aught brush and made white stripes in there, just to give it the illusion of that filter instead of just flat chrome that it was. It gives it a little more 3D look to it. That's the best I could come up with for it, and I think it'll look good. But you can see where that clip is on there, how far off the carburetor that's going to sit. So I had to put a little detail in there. So I think that'll be good. You know, that'll show up nice. I put my vacuum advance line, runs off of the distributor, around underneath the wires, under the radiator hose, or the heater hose, and into the very bottom of the carburetor. And that is everything on the engine so far. The transmission, I painted that the little panel, my titanium gold, X31. That's the same color as I painted the bowls on the carburetor and that little linkage plate. I really like that color. I also did it on the master cylinder Speaking of, let's talk about that. I assembled it, I painted it, I used the same color on the master cylinder as I did on my exhaust manifolds. I like that color. I also drilled a hole for the booster, the vacuum booster. Golly, I can't get focus here. I drilled the hole for the booster. We'll run that once it's all put into the car. And speaking of the car, this is all I got was the grill painted today. I painted where the emblem goes with titanium, Jeepers Batman, chrome silver, the X11. And I did that because I wanted to make sure that even if the decal didn't line up or fit perfectly, that I would have those crisp edges on there. And then for the black, I just used the Accent Real Black, which is the same as Apple Butter's Apple Barrels flat black. So if you can't find the Accent, I doubt you'll ever see that again. The Apple Barrel works just as good. So there's the body. Let me get it out of the way so I don't scratch it. I did a video the other day on bare metal foil, where I bare metal foiled the door panel, just the upper part of the door panel. And then when I was done with that, I came in with a Molotow pen and I did the door latch and the handle for the window. I also did this little light in the back with the chrome silver. These two I did with the Molotow pen to give it a different, I want a different chrome, different look on here. And then the ring around this thing, I used my gel pen. And this is just the gel pen from Amazon. There's 500 different brands out there, and they all work really well. This one came with gold, white, and the silver. The white lasted nothing, but the silver and the gold have lasted for over a couple of years. Now this part at the bottom, it's like a, I don't know, chrome louvers almost. So what I did is I just dry brushed that this way, just straight down. And when that's in the car like this, it'll look very good. Looking at it straight down, it looks bad. But when you look at it on the angle that you'll see it in the car, and then the seats are going to be there too, it looks a lot better. And that's what I was looking for, is it at this angle and not straight at it. I knew when I went straight at it, it'd be all blotchy. But as soon as you turn that, it kind of makes it look really, really nice. And I did that on both of them. So both panels are done. I went in with the dash, and I'm tickled with the dash. Again, I keep saying I suck at dashes, and the last 3 of them I got real lucky with. This one, I bare metal foiled the top, and where I messed up, I came in with the gel pen and the chrome silver and fixed as best I could. When it's tilted this way, you're never going to see it anyhow. But I did chrome silver on the radio first. I let that dry, and then I did clear green, Tamiya's clear green, on the dial with a 4/0 brush. I love my 4/0 brush. But I did the dial with Tamiya green, and then sharpened a toothpick, and I used Tamiya's just X7 red on that. Just dab it and gone. The gauges, I did the same. When I did this one, the red, I did the red on the 2 indicators, and then I took Tamiya's XF2 and another sharpened toothpick, and I went around all of the numbers and just dot, 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 all the way around. And then where I messed up, I came back with the Tamiya's X18, which is the flat, or the semi-gloss, and I'd go in between them where I messed up, and I kept doing that until it looks as good as I can make it. Up here, just a dot from the gel pen in the centers, and I tried to do a little bit of the flat white in there, here and there, to make it have interest. On the turn signals, which are little triangles that you didn't even see until the bare metal foil hit it, I touched those with the green since I had it out already. This piece is Tamiya's clear red, which is X27. And I put a dot in there, and then it kind of overran up on the top, and I came back with the chrome silver and went across the top of it, and nobody will ever be able to tell. This I messed up. I will come back with the X18, the semi-gloss, and I'll touch that up, but I want to make sure that's good and dry before I do it so it doesn't lift off and turn into glitter. That's all I need. Over here where the heater controls are, I haven't done anything with yet. I think all I'm going to do is panel line that real quick. Again, when this is tilted this way, you're never going to see it anyhow. But I want to know I did at least tried something because I know it's there. So there's that. The next we got those bad brake rotors that I did. They came out horrible. So I came back with the X7, the Tamiya's red, went right over the bad panel lining with it. Didn't sand it, didn't do anything. I just touched it up lightly, and that gave me shadow lines because the panel liner is still showing through just a little bit. So that gave me a little bit of shadow lines, and I'm happy with it now. I can live with that. So when you screw up, you can always come back and fix it. Next I did was the battery. I got the cables on the battery. Drilled a hole in the angle, like I said the last update. Just glued in some of this solder, and then I painted this, the X7, the red, and I painted this with X1, which is just Tamiya's gloss black, or black. And those look pretty good. I'll worry about where I'm going to run them once I get it into the, once the firewall's in. And next thing I did was I got the seats put together and I chromed them out. I think they came out very nice. I even got the, the little tab in the front I showed. But around it I used Molotow pen, so I don't really want to touch this yet or for the next several years until it dries hard. And then the last thing I did is I took my drill bit, and this is the largest small drill bit that I have in the kit. I took that and my lenses, and let me bring this over, and I drilled at the tightest angle as I could through the lens here so that I could get the LEDs in here. And I'm going to use white LEDs on this with my bare fingers. There we go. That's going to look so cool. But my big worry, like I talked about the last time, my big worry is that the LED would be out of the way of the lens. And it is, as long as I come off on this angle out the back. So that's why I drilled that super tight angle in there. And my next step in this, believe it or not, is I am going to super glue these in place. Just like that. Before I do that, though, I have to cut these wires back short. One back this far, and then one a half an inch or so farther. So that I could put that 32 magnet wire on there. Because this is nowhere near long enough to run anywhere. My plan is, when I get the lights into the body, we'll bring this back over, I'll be able to put them in this way. I already checked. I can get them in by dropping it down that way, and I'm going to run the wires down the trough right in here, down through here, and then somewhere where I can come out into the chassis underneath. And I'm going to dump these out of the car and into a base. So this car is going to be on a base. It's not going to be able to be moved like all my other ones. And I've never done a base for a car before. So I'm not even sure what I'm going to do. but I want all these wires. I'm going to have, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 wires just from the front, and then 12 wires in the back, because these run sequential, and you know, they go blink, blink, blink from inside to out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run all those down and in underneath the base to a little computer board. It's called an Arduino that you can program, and I will program that to where I'll have control over the low beams, the high beams, and I can push one button and I'll have the left turn signal, push another one, I'll have the right turn signal, push another one, and it'll be brake lights. So I think it'll be pretty cool. But we'll have all that and more. But right now, I'm going to call this video quits. I appreciate the thumbs up and the subscriptions. I will honestly try to answer every single comment that is left on my page. So if I don't, comment me again and say, hey, you missed this, and hit me again. I'm really trying hard to make sure I don't miss anybody. But I do appreciate every single one, and every single like, and every single view. And if you think I'm screwing something up, don't be shy, let me know, and I'll try to correct it. But anyhow, I'll let you go. I am Mark, and this is Grandpa Mark's Hobbies. You all have a great weekend.